Hi, everybody. I'm here. I see Faye's already in the house. Whoop whoop. I was looking through my phone earlier, and about 20 minutes ago, two of you were waiting in line, and I'm like, it's not that crowded over here. So I'm going to try to talk for just a couple minutes. I'll give you a quick rundown of what we're going to go through today. Hi, Esther G. Today is 4/4, which is a portal date. 1/1 is portal date, 2/2. February 2nd is a portal date. March 3rd is a portal date. April 4th is a portal date. And April 4th is a really important portal date because it's what all the other three portal dates before were building up to in their thoughts. So, we got all six of us in here. I want you to know I normally, run at 1, but today I started physical therapy. Actually, I started it last week, but I started the real going to the guy, and I wasn't sure I'd get back in time. And I'm glad I decided to run it later in the day because I did get stuck in a traffic jam, the first one I've been in since COVID. Really, honest to God, this is the first bumper to bumper sitting there on a road that normally goes 70 miles an hour doing nothing. Now I realize why I want to work from home. Um, Hello, world. Hello, Jennifer. Hello, Debbie Joyce. Hello, Mikala Butler. Dozen cats. Hi, stopping by to say hello. If you can see kind of more of the picture behind me, those are blue bonnets, and that was a picture taken by a friend of mine on the side of the road 3 days ago. This is the time. This is one of the only times it's really great to be in Texas. It's like a sea of blue all over the roads. It's just incredible. Hi, Miriam, Dream Journey One, G. Covington. I'm going to spend time today talking to everybody. Miriam, I got your question, Miriam. I'm going to answer it. Like I was saying, today is 4/4. It's the 4th of April. It's a very magical number. It's the compilation of the 1 1 2 2 3 3 4 4. Okay, I already did that. Hi, Lauren Hunsinger. What I'm going to do, besides saying, somebody wrote to Jeffrey, and not to Jeffrey, but to Scott, and said, "Doesn't it bother you that woman says all the time?" And Scott said back to him, "No, I think she's thinking about things. It's not really true. It's just my brain slipping." But we won't tell him the truth. Anyway, we're going to go to the questions we got today. And it's so funny because both of you were talking about moving. And earlier in the day, I was listening to a guy, I'd never seen him before. And his last name is Grimm, and he's an astrologer. And I was just trying to catch up on what his take on April was, because I like to listen to a lot of different opinions. And one of the things he talked about was with Mercury being so close to our North Node, he said this is going to be a month that a lot of people who had been thinking about moving, trying to move, it's just going to become almost an obsession with them. And I thought that's funny because the only two questions I got today were this one. Good morning. Trying to figure out where to move to. Any clues? Looking at Eugene or Salem, Oregon. Are those pretty close together? Because that could affect how my cards see it. But we're going to put out 5 cards for Eugene and 5 cards for Salem. And I got to move something so I can shuffle cards. I've been building grids this week. I built 3 yesterday. I did the rough draft. I'm going to form them finally together tomorrow and then hop like a bunny off to FedEx because one of them has to go to Canada. And I have another reading. This week's been I kind of left it really open, mostly because like I said, I'm starting physical therapy, and my legs got weak again, and I know that if I don't it's not something walking's going to fix. It's something I have to work on specific muscles, and I just as soon not work on specific muscles unless I'm having some guidance, because I do know that if you screw up your muscles by exercising the wrong way. I mean, there's lots of lovely exercise programs on YouTube, and there's some really interesting couch yoga, which after looking at after dealing with a PT and discussing what I need to work on, I may do. But I just really wanted to be careful. So first we're going to look at Eugene, and we're not going to do that unless I do this. Then you can see the cards. Eugene looks like a good place for you. And I'll put down Salem, and then we'll kind of do compare and contrast. Salem's not looking so hot. Salem, there's part of you that very much would like to live there. It would get you out of a situation you feel like is a prison, but you're not going to meet as many people that you get along with. It's just going to be a burdensome journey. Whereas, Eugene, you're getting out of jail. I mean, you're getting out of being locked up in a bad situation. You're really kind of worried about having the money to expend to do it. But once you get up there, all the information is going to flow. You're going to feel like you're the master of the universe. And the Four of Wands, I can't imagine having a better card to show up for getting a house. So I would say right now, the cards are saying, Eugene, don't let that rule your life. Remember, you're a free will creature. You can do what you want. But I'm just saying you're going to find more. You're going to get there and you're going to feel it so obvious and so easy to get up there, despite the fact you think I can't afford. There may be some reasons you think you can't afford where you want to live up there, but you'll be able to find the money. You got the Magician. New beginnings, master of your own universe. Yay! Okay. That's my one moving question. My other moving question is this one. Miriam, I'm hoping to sell my house and move about 25 miles from where I live, hopefully just outside of town. My intuition says October of this year, but I'd love it sooner. What do you see? Well, because you're asking about a time element, I'm going to throw it in the garden. So winter, spring, summer, fall. If a lot of them fall over here, that shows the fall. If they show anywhere else, they may show a progression towards the fall. Well, yep, you're going to be doing a lot of looking and searching this summer. But the reason I think you're going to go there in the fall, because you're going to look, and relook. And this is your spirit stone in restate. And your clarity is coming out of fire because you've bought houses before and you know what to really look for. You're going to get a lot of false starts. And there may be parts of how you're thinking about it that you're not really clear on it this summer. But I see these two are really positive in the fall. But you may actually know by the end of summer where you're moving. You may move in the early fall. You got your body and earth. Physical changes are coming, which is good if you're looking to buy a new house and to move. That's a good thing for you. But where your mind falls in false, your mind can be misleading for you at times, and your values need to be reconsidered. That's why those both fell in false. So by fall, though, that's why I think you're going to be looking around this summer. You're just not going to find, it'll be late summer before you find what you want. But you have spirit going in the right direction, but you're going to do a lot of clarification about where you want to end up. And you have clarity in fire. And that says use the ideas from your past and you'll find the solutions for now. So I think it's fall. Your intuition may be right about October. You might want to go see it sooner. You can go look, but I think you're going to see a lot of stuff you think you might like and you really don't. So I hope that helps. And if you want to ask a question of me, put it in the comments in bold, please, because I can't. Oh, now, exciting news for our community, and I don't see her on here. Finland joined the NATO today. They got allowed into NATO. And got to go back and get rid of that comment. Oh, did the wrong thing. Okay. Hide. Okay. Anglo's country got into NATO, and that's huge for them because I don't know if you understand, Finland is connected to Russia. I mean, it has the largest land border with Russia, larger than Ukraine's. So Putin started that stupid war to expand the direction of Russia, and all he's done is double the amount. He wanted to get NATO further away from Russia. All he's done is get NATO um, to double or more than double the border that they have with them. And I don't like war, but this to me, and I think it's kind of wonderful. It happened on the same day that a certain gentleman with orange hair went into the courts in New York. Okay, but so that leads me to my next topic. Today is 4/4, and dates that are did Angla show up? Yay, Angla. Oh, there you are. Yay, Angla. You're part of the NATO, which up until this war happened, they were trying to stay neutral, which if I had a land mass border that big along them, I'd want to keep my butt out of being there. But anyway, I'm going to talk about 4/4 because it's really important. 1/1 is New Year's, and that's starting something new. And it's insightful, and it 1/1 is like 11, and that means things that are creative. They are really the bigger picture, looking towards humanity at that time. Then 2/2, February 2nd, which happens to be the birthday of the man, my great uncle, who was my favorite great uncle, Uncle Garland. On 22, it's creativity, and he was a marvelously wonderful creative man. He went around the county he lived in, upstate New York, and he collected up all of the Civil War letters and diaries, and he wrote a book on the Civil War soldiers from that part of the country, and that became part of the documentarian that does those long, drawn-out documentaries. A lot of his work was in that guy's documentaries. 3/3 is nurturing, and they refuse to be, but they refuse to be intimidated by any challenges that are in their past. So even though a 3/3 is very nurturing time, it's also a very determined time. 3 is my life path, so we're pretty determined. 44 is our hardworking, disciplined, systematic, professional, trustworthy, composed both physically and mentally. That it's a time to understand that we're getting more deeply spiritual and wise, and an inspiration to many people. It's believed that when this number helps us work through reincarnations. It's the ending of the cycle of the cycle towards building things. Now, if you have been following any of this stuff, you know that 4s are the base. If you study numerology, it's the number that creates the base. And so a 4/4 is a number for vibrations, self-discipline, abundance, and success through balance, balancing the two worlds, spirit and earth, family and work, emotions and logic. It's a sign of balance. And I think that's so perfect after having gone through the big planetary changes that we've gone through to figure out where we fit in that. And that's what this time's for. And so there couldn't have been numerologically a better day. The superpower of this master number is enterprise and business. And that includes finding your path in the sacred order, because our spiritual life is our business. We will find the perfect resources and attract a perfect harmony with nature. And I know, even though some of you are still under feet of snow, that nature's coming, and you'll be able to get out and walk with your feet on the ground again. The nature of the number 4 is stability. So you put 2 4s together, and you just get stability with stability. It also is a time of healing. It's a time of exposing truth, which I think today was a pretty good example of that, repairing injustice, and rebuilding the sacred structures around ourselves. And through what we've been working with and accumulating the knowledge we've been working through, we're attracting so much more to ourselves than we had before. And I think it's just a wonderful culmination time. And 5/5 is change. Now 5/5 in May will be change, and I'm going to try to remember to do the date on the 5th. And let's see, I'm trying to make sure I got all the things on my notes. Okay, 44. This I like this paragraph I found. 44 is known for magnificence and manifestation. It's the master architect and the master alchemist whose leaderships and skills can transform any idea or structure into a powerful, life-altering accomplishment. Doesn't mean it's going to happen all at once or overnight, but the lessons of the 44 go beyond the hard work of being in the mundane world. We see every moment as a creative challenge. We see obstacles as things that need to be pushed so we can get to the perfectionism and gain from the humility of doing that. So that's kind of my notes on 4/4. And when I started looking at it last night, and when I realized as I typed out my thing, oh, we're going to be doing this on a 4/4. I hadn't talked about that recently. Let's see who we got. Let's see if we got questions in here. I saw one and I already marked it. You got a yay for Finland in here from Libra Lady. Oh, by the way, on the drawing, I did send a note to the person who's number 1 in the drawing. I did it with the YouTube app that goes through the comments and randomly picks one. I've written them. They have not written me back. They've got a certain number of days. If they don't, then I'll pick another one, and I will let you know that it's been out there. But I did put in my notes on today's show that number's been pulled. The person's been contacted. So if you didn't get a message from me, you can go back and look through the comments, and you can see who got the comment. And also, it came up. Okay, got another one that's not in bold. So if that person doesn't come through, then I'll let the next person know. And I've had that happen before when I offered gifts and the person sent in for it and everything, and I wrote them back and they never got back in touch with me. I don't know what happened to them. Let's see if I see any other questions. Nope, only have 2 questions so far. Okay, Tammy. What does the next 3 months look like for you? I'm going to do that with the cards because that's an easy one to do with cards. And then I have someone who wants to know about a grandchild. Woo! That'll be a long reading because it'll be the baby and the family. Oh, that's what I was going to tell you. Someone commented that they made a comment to me and it didn't appear. Then they wrote it again. They wrote it in all caps. It still didn't appear. Well, I happen to know it's a woman who likes to put emojis in with the comments. And I found out from YouTube, if you put emojis without putting a space between your name and the end and the emoji, if you put them too close together, that the emoji will eat the text and apparently make the whole thing disappear because their system reads it as a flawed communication that can't be translated into a comment. So if you're using emojis, if it was me, I'd put 2 spaces between the emoji and the text just to make sure. That took me about 3 hours getting through to those people, by the way, about that. Okay. Tammy's next. What's going on for Tammy for the next week? Casting down a burden. And you've got way too many people in your life, girl. You're making some really serious choices. You just want to ditch a burden that you're carrying right now. And I don't know if it's someone you work with, it's your work schedule, if it's your family life or whatever. But you have two male figures in this life who are really one's very insightful, this guy's almost lawyerly in his understanding of the language. And then you have another person who has to do with money. And I think this person's from work. Also, I see that if you have children, is this one of her kids? Yeah. One of your kids is screwing around, but they're going to come out of it before the end of the school year. So whatever they've been up to, I think they're under the influence from someone else and they're giving up their own power. But I see that. Let's see what you feel about the 10. Okay. You feel like you can't cast off this burden and walk away. You just don't have the strength to move on right now, but you're figuring out a way to build a better protection for yourself and to get a better outcome from the work you're doing. Let's see who the man is. The King of Swords is going through some real transitions. They're really kind of tough. And the King of Swords is also going through some transitions. So I think you may not see these people as strong as they're going to be, but right now they're going through some transitions. And it's going to be a good one for this guy because he's going to learn that he can't control everything. And that's a good lesson to learn in this life. And for the man, this man's just going through some really heavy duty transitions. It's made him less emotionally available and to be around less. So you may feel him getting distance. I don't think it's distance from you. I think it's distance because he knows he's changing, and you know how some people can be. They just don't accept change well. But I'm this card I'm going to list you. They're all wearing you out. Girl, you need to tell them go solve their own problems. They're not bad guys. They're just going through a lot and they're trying to bring it home to you. I don't know if that's truth, but the next 3 months don't look bad because the people around you will continue to be supportive even though they're going through stuff. And if you have a kid that's been screwing up in school, he's going to come out of it. So don't worry about it. And I don't know if you do have a kid even. I think you do. Okay, now, where was the lady with the... Yeah, you're okay. This is Tammy. This may sound weird, but my root chakra's been buzzing all day, all the way to my feet. Yeah, because you're going through some fundamental changes. You need to let people go. They're draining your energy, and your energy's trying to build itself back up. Okay, here's the one. I have my first grandchild, Koa, due any day now. What can you foresee for him in his parents' life ahead? He will be an Aries with a Leo. To tell you the truth, Arlene, I'll tell you how I feel about your birth sign is your birth sign, and it's the first thing we know. But I'd go to a good astrologer and see how much of him, because I know some people who have it seems like a strong fire sign, but then they have a whole lot of water in their chart, and they don't, it kind of works out. I don't see people by zodiac signs without knowing their whole chart. But that's an interesting combination. A Leo father. Sag parents are good. Leo parents are good, except they're very... I don't know if the Leo is your son or the Sag is your daughter, but okay, let's see. What are we going to see happening around the family life with Koa coming home? I can guarantee you, if they're coming home with the baby soon, someone's going to be sleep deprived. And I don't have to lay a card to see that one. Yep, going to be sleep deprived. He's going to be a good little kid, though. It's mom who's going to be sleep deprived. Well, he's coming in. If he's coming in Aries right now, he's got Jupiter really close to his natal sun. I do know that much. Jupiter is in Aries right at the moment. there's been a lot of stuff that's happened negatively for your son and for the father and mother of this child, but they're going to view this baby as the time that ends, because he's going to come in and give them a lot of emotional strength. I don't know if they have other children, but they have some. I don't know about there's some other person that's around them that I don't see as particularly positive. Oh no, they're going to hang back. Yeah, they have a friend, and it's a dark-haired woman, and she's kind of um, not a good influence on them about the baby. I don't know if she was a good friend of the mother, but she's always sort of talking it down, and I see her here again. But it's going to take the Sagittarius mom a moment to really get into mom mode, because she's going to be so tired. And I don't know if you live near them, but if you can give them any kind of respite and give them a chance to rest, that'll be really important. But this child is deeply psychic, and so are either one or both of the parents. And they're going to build a very strong home at the end of this. But when they could bring the baby home, it's going to be kind of rough for them. Not that they don't love the baby, but like I said, I kept hearing the words sleep deprived, sleep deprived, sleep deprived. And in actual fact, I can't talk about that much because my first two kids were 9-3 and 9-13, and they slept through the night almost from the day I brought them home from the hospital. For the one that was 9-13, he slept through the night every night that he ever was home, except one day when he was teething. So I only heard about being sleep deprived from my friends. But I think it's more that sleep deprivation, and she may have a little postpartum depression just from the hormonal changes. So, but the kid's a great kid. He's just a great huggy bear, lovey little kid. So if it's a koa, pages can be male or female, so it doesn't matter. Now, let me go down and see. Everybody, I'm going to cut off a little bit early so you can go over and see Dr. Gail's got a special show on. So you can go over. Candy wants to know about the expansion in my business. Okay. I just feel like reading cards today. I don't know why. Got the garden out. Expansion of Candy's business. Okay, let me see about the expansion of Candy's business. You're oh yeah, this summer is going to be great for you. This is kind of like right now you're not sure. Oh, that's not helpful, is it? Because it's not the big boy. This is the Hierophant, and you played by the rules, and you've done everything right. Some things haven't worked out the way you wanted, but you determinedly, this is a woman of great ambition and great thinking and great minds. So you're plowing right ahead. This summer is going to be brilliant for you. And even though you're anticipating stormy seas, I think that's more what's in your mind than what's really going to be out there. I know they have all the doomsayers about the economy and whatever, but I don't know if any of you saw the article today, but they've just finished they forced the egg producers to do to show their books early, and they made a 718% rise in the last quarter. So all those expensive eggs you bought, I don't think it was avian flu. I think it was price gouging. Let's see if we've got more questions. Okay. See how Vicky's going to do. Okay, let's see how the Libra is going to get with the full moon. How's the moon going to hit big? Oh, that looks pretty good. Oh, yes, girl. Okay. It's going to help you with some emotional issues and some issues of feeling fulfilled and make your heart feel full. And it's going to be the end of kind of a rough journey that you've been going through. It's not going to change your work situation much, but it's going to change how all the people around you are, and you're going to be able to let go of a lot of grief. So I think this full moon's going to lead you in some wonderful new directions. And I got an answer from Tammy. Okay. Tammy says her daughter's in a bad relationship. The hubby's struggling at work, that they have a nephew who's still grieving about the dad's death. That could be the child that was upside down. And all of you will heal. There was nothing in that. You just need to quit worrying about everybody else and take care of Tammy. Okay. People at my job don't feel well. We believe that there's something in the air. Landlord is not taking it seriously. Is there something in the air? Okay. G. Covington, is there something in the air that you can do something about? Tell you there was something in the air for the last 2 weeks here. It was yellow tree pollen, and man, it's all gone away finally, and I can breathe again. Yep. And there's a man who can help you with it. There's 2 men. I think that's the landlord. I think there's some health department thing you can call in and have them check it out. I think there's some kind of health services or some group you can get in. Even in Texas, they don't let them kill you in your workplace. They make them come and check it out. So I think if you guys all get together, you can look on the Board of Health, see what you got. I don't know where you live, and I may be presumptuous. Okay, Leo's my son. Tammy, okay. What did I say? Quit worrying about everybody else. They need to grow up and handle their own problems. You're just worrying yourself into a tizzy. Okay. Okay, this one. Will I be successful at decreasing my symptoms and starting a new business? Okay. It's 2 questions, hello world. We're going to do it in 2 parts because if I ask both parts, one might be a yes, and the other one will be a no, and then we don't get anywhere. Hey, what we got? Hello world. First row is going to be, will I be successful at decreasing my symptoms? And second row will be starting the business. Yes, you will. You've finally quit crying over spilt milk, and you started letting some of it go. Your transformation is not complete yet, but you will very soon be able to turn that corner, make decisions all for yourself. That's your symptoms now. Starting a business. Yep. You're going to get what you want. This is a giant yes card. You need to fill up each one of those cups with where you want to go. It's going to mean letting go of an old situation. And the problem is you haven't built up all the stuff you need to, the background you need to do what you want to do. But you're going to walk away from some battles you don't need to battle on. So don't If you weren't happy in your old field, don't go back battling there. And this shows that it's going to take a little longer. It's going to take 7 to 9 months for you to get to where you need to go to fill these cups up, because you got two nines on here. No, you've got 3 9s on here. Yeah, I'd say September would be the time for you. Let's see. I didn't say the big kids aren't always hungry, but mine didn't wake up at night. I could get enough in them at night, so they didn't wake me up. But I used to have people watch him when he was out with me, and he was such a placid kid. And they would say, "Why didn't my kid sit there like that? My kid sits around and cries all day." And I'm like, I have no idea. Thank you, Aries Wanderer. Oh, I'll pick a card for you. I'll pick some. Which? Oh, I'm going to pull a wild elemental for you. And we're going to see where you're going to go. Y'all can't see. She's asking, today's her birthday. It's her 44th birthday. So it's your 44th birthday, and you heard what I said about things that are 4-4. It's a really empowering year. And we're going to read a wild elemental. So I'm going to pull me over because that makes more sense. Okay. I tell you, my physical therapist, the first time I went to see him was basically evaluation day, and he gave me these little leg lift exercises to do every night before I go to bed and when I first wake up in the morning. And they actually are, I can feel them kind of strengthening my legs. So I get in there today thinking, oh, we're going to do some more stuff like that. No. 5 minutes on a little pedally bike, and then all these other exercises, and 15 of everything, and then stop and doing another 15. I walked out of there. I felt like I've been through boot camp. But he's really a very nice man, and he says he wants to get me so that we can start in 3 weeks working on having me be on the floor and learn how to stand up, because that's my problem. I can't. My legs had gotten so weak I couldn't stand on my own. Ah, dude, a spider. And the spider means this is an incredibly positive deck. It's the wild elementals, and it's been really good. So I hope it's good for you. Ooh, spider is a water sign, and it says weaver of webs of fate, wisdom, creativity, divine inspiration, shape-shifting, understanding the patterns of illusion, female energy, and the most creative force of life. When the spider weaves her way into your life, she brings with her some powerful messages. A master creator, she is encouraging you to express yourself in a creative form. Beyond that, she's showing you that you are, of all the creatures, have your own life that you control. Only you have the power to weave the life you want. Stop waiting for something to happen for you. Create what you want to have happen. Stop ignoring your ideas and dreams. Reach in, grab your creativity, and put it into use. Creativity is not solely regulated by the arts. Problem solving is creative. Business can be creative. Relationships that thrive when injected with a big dose of creativity. So it doesn't mean you have to go home and knit. It just means that you're bursting into a great new creative period of your life. That's wonderful. Happy birthday. Yay. Okay, I don't know. I don't think I understand that. My 93-year-old dad just moved into LTC today. I think that must be some kind of long-term care. Okay. Okay, we can look at Dad. Every once in a while I get these initials and I'm like, what are they talking about? Okay. 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 Will Dad adjust to the long-term care? Will he be okay? He's figuring it out. Oops, I did it again. Can't see that. He's figuring it out. He's figuring the problems out. If he has some sort of dementia on top, I mean, besides being 93, if he has a little bit of dementia, it's going to take him a while to settle in, but he'll get it. He's actually going to like being there because he's going to be among his peers. It's more your worries than his, but it's going to be the end of a very draining and difficult illness you've been helping him cope with. He's going to do really well there. That's the 10 of coins. You see, that's the happy family all together. It really is a good place for him to be. What I'm sensing, I actually am feeling pressure. I think he had either some kind of stroke or some sort of slow oncoming dementia, or his mobility is limited. And this place is going to have people that he's going to feel less like he's being a child, for like he felt like he didn't want to have to be your child. He wanted to be your dad, and he was struggling internally with that. So this is letting him go, be where he can be cared for, and he'll feel better about it, Jana. So you should be very proud of yourself for allowing him to go into long-term care. That was the pain I was feeling. Yeah, he fractured his neck. Yeah, well, no, he needs to be in long-term care. And they're safer there, and it's happier there, and you're not killing yourself trying to take care of them. I remember when I had to there was no bringing my husband home. He was dying of cancer, but a friend of mine wrote me yesterday, and she ended up putting her husband 3 days ago in the same place where my husband was in care, and the place was great to him. And I told her I hoped it was for Ed, because I know her husband. He's a really good guy. Can I get a card, Vernie? 444. Okay. Oh, Sharon, I'm sorry. I hope the storm doesn't hurt you too much. It blew away part of my hometown in Illinois, just south of Chicago, the other day. And someone actually died there from it. And we had tornadoes going through Texas, but it was east of us where it really got bad. These storms are horrible because this is way early. For those of you who don't live in Tornado Alley, they usually don't start till May, and this is April. So we're going to see. What did Bernie get? Oh, I hope you like pink, because Vernie got the flamingo. They have little numbers on them, so I know which page to go to. Which is another good thing about this deck, because the descriptions are good and it's easy to find the cards. I have decks we have to go in the back of the thing and find it's not good. Okay. Flamingo attributes. Ability to filter soul lessons from emotional waters. Understanding the language of color. Ability to maintain a soul purpose in a group living situation. Understanding how to maintain your balance, which makes sense. They can stand on one leg. Flamingo makes its appearance in your life when you need to hear that no matter what is going on in your life, even if it's a drama-filled situation, there's always a takeaway lesson. She is here to show you that nothing happens that is not supposed to. Finding the lesson is critical to be able to stay away from the lower vibration of emotions that you might now be experiencing. Take out a piece of paper and list all the possible lessons. You may not be in a place to see them right now, so use your imagination. Stuck in traffic? Going to be late? Perhaps if you were on time, you would have been in an accident. Once start training yourself to look at situations this way, life becomes much less frustrating. So I hope your life isn't frustrating, Vernie, but I hope that will help you cope with it if it is. Get rid of Bernie. Okay, well. Okay. Can you tell me if I'll be reuniting my daughter and grandbabies anytime soon? She got angry and cut me off, and nothing I said helped. Okay. I'm going to pull a card for you instead of doing a reading. What I feel, my spidey senses are telling me is you have to let it have time. And there is nothing you're going to say to her because she's not listening. And I know it's cutting you off from your grandbabies, but the more she feels that you're struggling to get with them, the more she's going to withhold them because she's just at that point in her life where she wants to hurt someone bad and she's hurting you. So I'm going to pull a card. Hummingbird 23. Oh, this is a good one for you. Ability to heal by using light. Endurance over long journeys. Ability to fly into small places to heal. Joy, happiness, and love. When the hummingbird is darting into your life, he is bringing the message to have more joy in your life. You need to go find joy in other than sitting around worrying about her. Even though you may have been caught up in a drama and the chaos that's surrounding you, make time to get away and find time to play. You can find the time to do the things that make you happy. Try not to bring your worries into those play dates with yourself. You can believe in the end of the drama is, if you can believe it, the end of the drama is right around the corner. You have a hand in manifesting your own happiness, love, and joy. Move forward on that path. Okay, I'm going to tell you a story, and I have a ton of them, but this one happens to be about my father. My father's mother had a very hard life. Her husband went off to World War I and came back wounded, except it wasn't visible. It wasn't like he lost an arm and a leg. He'd been mustard gassed, and he could never breathe well again. Well, they stayed together long enough to have my dad and Aunt Beth, and then he deserted her. So here she was, a woman in the early 20s, 1920s, not like 100 years ago, in a small town in Canada with 2 little kids to raise. It was very hard for her. And they had no, divorce was something you didn't do. She did it because it's the only way she could survive. And it was to the point that at one point she was so poor and couldn't feed them. She was going to turn them into the province orphanage, which is Ontario. And he was 10 years old and sitting on the courthouse steps about to be taken away. And instead, he had an aunt, Della, one of his mother's sisters, and an Uncle Charlie, who roared in, picked them up off the steps, took them to their home, and they raised them until they were grown. But once he was grown, he won a full scholarship to go to medical school. And Grandma, his mother, showed up and wanted to insinuate herself into his life. And I really got to give it to my dad. He fought his entire adult life to try and make that woman happy, but nothing he could do could make her happy except to divorce my mother and take her in and raise her. And so he wouldn't do it. So when he moved, he and my mom retired. My parents did very well. They retired to Hawaii, and they were flying through Dallas to get to Hawaii because I worked for an airline and I got them plane tickets. So the last night they were going to be here in the contiguous 48, he told me they'd gone to see my grandmother, and she'd not he'd been paying for all these years for her to be in extended care. She couldn't move, she couldn't walk, she rarely talked, and so he went in to say goodbye. And then he just insisted that my mother come in and say goodbye. Well, my mom knew. My mom had spidey sense, like, this is not a good idea. She went in the room. For the first time in months, Grandma sat up and swore like a sailor at my mother. And the nurses had to go get a shot to calm her down. So my dad was telling me all this, and I said, Daddy, uh, when you get to Hawaii, you're going to stay there. You're not going to fly back to Canada for the funeral, because he had really bad blood pressure problems. And I said, you don't want to put yourself in that plane any more often than you have to. And he said, yeah, I know. I talked to my sister Beth and we worked everything out. She's going to handle it all. And he said, I said, and I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. And I rarely spidey sense on my family, but I told him, the day they get to Hawaii, when they're finally settled in and he's really realizing, I've built this much for my life, I can retire here and be happy and really feel contented, the phone's going to ring and she will have died. And the reason she will have died was because you have finally let her go. You've become you. And he looked at me and said, well, that's kind of a judgmental thing to say. And I said, well, then don't listen to it. I don't care. And that's exactly what happened. The day he got his binoculars out and they had gotten into the condo they ended up living in, and he could see from Pearl Harbor all the way to Diamond Head, the way the windows were on their condos. And they lived behind the Hawaiian Hilton. And he got the binoculars out and he was looking at the ships going in and out. And he went around and looked all over at Diamond Head and he thought, this is absolutely glorious. This is everything I've worked my life for. The phone rang. And he said, he told me later when I was visiting him, it was her. She died. As if to take the one last, I said, I hope to God you picked the binoculars back up and went looking at the things you really liked. He said, yeah, I took a page off your book. I looked at what I really liked. So the reason she can continue to manipulate you is because you continue to have that tie to her negative energy. And this is going to be the last thing I'm going to speak about, because y'all have to run over and watch Dr. Gail. But what you need to do, thank you, Gigi. What you need to do you know about, I don't know if you believe in archangels or not, but give it a shot, kid. Sit down in a chair one day and get really calm. And then call Archangel Michael in. And I'd call in Ariel too, because she can make you feel very free. Have them stand behind you, one to the right, one to the left. And ask Michael to help cut the cords, because what your daughter has is a cord to you and you have one that goes to her, and she knows exactly how to manipulate you through that cord. So you call Michael in and say, Archangel Michael, swing your sword to the right of me, to the left of me, to the front, to the back, above and below, and free me from all the cords. And I'd heard about this. Oh, Gail already had her show. Okay. Go and the first time I did that, I'd heard about it for years and I thought, it sounds like so much BS. But I was one Sunday just sitting in my comfy chair after my knee surgery, and I got in a really calm space and I did that. And I actually could feel energy pulls coming back into me, like cords had been cut and they went boink back into me. And you might want to do it several times. And I think that you will find out that if you do that and you go out and it says, like, be like the hummingbird, go out and have your good times and find your own life. And all of a sudden, things will change. The energy, the universe will let her know. And things will change for you. And I hope that helps. Anyway, there's one thing I wanted to do today. And it's a poem, and I just love it. And I think I've read it to y'all before. So if you don't like my poems, you can leave now. But this one's called My Brain and My Heart Divorced. Oh, it was about a decade ago, over who was to blame about the big mess I had become. Eventually, they couldn't be even in the same room with each other. Now my head and my heart share custody of me, and I stay in my brain during the week and my heart on the weekends. They never speak to one another. Instead, they gave me the same note to pass to each other every week. And their notes they always send to one another always say the same thing. This is all your fault. And on Sundays, my heart complains about how my head has let me down in the past. And on Wednesdays, my head lists all the times my heart has screwed me and things up for me in the future. They blame each other for the state of my life. There's been a lot of yelling and a lot of crying. So lately, I've been spending a lot of time in my gut, who serves me as my unofficial therapist. Most nights, I sneak out of the window in my rib cage and slide down my spine and collapse in the gut's plush leather couch. It's always open to me. And I just sit and sit and sit till the sun comes up. But last evening, my gut asked me if I was having a hard time being caught between my head and my heart. And I nodded. I said, you don't notice if I could live with either of them anymore. My heart is always sad for something that happened yesterday, and my head is always worried about something that's going to happen tomorrow. That's my lament. My gut squeezed my hand. I can't just live with my mistakes of the past or the anxiety in the future. The gut smiled and said, in that case, you should go stay with your lungs for a while. I was confused, and my face gave it away. My gut said, you are exhausted about your heart's obsession with the fixed past and your mind's focus on an uncertain future. Your lungs are the perfect place for you. There's no yesterday in your lungs. There's no tomorrow there either. There is only now, only the inhale, only the exhale. There is only this moment. There is only your breath. And in that breath, you can rest while your heart and your head work it out. That's their problem. This morning, while my brain was busy reading tea leaves, and while my heart was staring at old photographs, I packed a little bag, walked to the door of my lungs, and before I could even knock, she opened the door and with a smile said, as a gust of air embraced me, what took you so long? And that's a poem by John Rodell. And I just love that. And you can't live projecting your life always in the future, and you can't look at all the old pictures from yesterday. It's a beautiful poem. I love that sucker. That one stays on my desk. And so I think on 4/4, when we've been through so much turmoil and change, and we have so much more turmoil going on around us, we just need to breathe. Just don't worry about what's going to happen to somebody over something else. Take care of your own business. Breathe. Just live in the moment. Be glad you have that moment. And you can get out and walk around on the ground if it's warm enough. It's warm enough here. It was 80 today. Veronica, I'll just do one quick general reading in the garden, and then we got to go because Dr. Gale's already had her show. So you can go back and watch it if you missed it. Okay. Veronica, general reading. Okay, garden, what's happening around Veronica? Ooh, okay. Well, you've been obsessing on the past a little bit, I see here, because you've got your clarity in the past. You've got your spirit is in present. And when your spirit's in present, it means some spiritual changes are happening around you right now. And I think they're happening quickly because spirit's also in air. And it's really transforming how you see things and how you think about things. But your body is locked between water and air. And when it's in water, it's helping you with grounding elements. And when it's in air, the air means to ground your thoughts. So you're thinking a whole lot of things real quickly right now, and you're beginning to make a mental shift. Now, where's your mind in all this? Your mind is in earth. And it said final thoughts about some situation you're beginning to face are just really starting to come to light for you. Earth is where, oh, I did it again. Okay. Here's where your spirit is. Here's where your body was. Earth is where things rise out of the earth and then they mature and move on through the water. Air moves things very quickly. It's got a lot to do with thought. Fire is past lives and things that have happened in this life. So, and your values, the pyrite, is also an earth, and it's much more is going to be brought forward. So something new has just happened to you, Veronica, and you're beginning to understand this. And you guys can't see what she wanted me to do. Okay. But the stone that rolled outside of where the rest of them were was your clarity. Use lessons you have learned for answers. So whatever it is that's going on around you, it feels really, 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 really new. But actually, it's something a problem you've already solved. So I think the answers are going to come more quickly. You just need to stay really, really grounded right now. But you've got a lot of real positive energy in what's emerging, what's coming to your own mind about it. So I hope that helps, Veronica. I think your general reading is you're going through a spiritual uplifting time, and I hope it works out for you. And hide you, and I'm going to say goodbye. I'm going to come back on, say goodbye, and hope you guys have a wonderful 4-4. Bye.